Hello, wonderful world of wherever you're watching this. My name's Connor, I'm the singer of Broken Calling, and you're watching Enigma Media. Woo!
Ah, man, ich krieg immer warm. It didn't take that long to make me fall. I'm bleeding back against the wall. You're screaming for something to change, and I don't want to see you fall. You're a victim of an endless role, so you're leaving our lives once again. Let's go, I'm waiting for a leap of faith. This will be the last time that you ever scream my name. So help me see, 'cause we all deserve change. Help me breathe, 'cause I'm going insane. These sleepless nights melting.
What up, headbangers? How you doing? I'm Rob O'Day.
I'm Norm Mathers.
Welcome to Enigma Media. Today we're chilling with Antagonist out of California. How you guys doing?
Good, man. How you guys doing?
Good. Why don't you introduce yourselves and let us know how the band got together?
My name is Lon. I am the drummer.
I'm Carlos. I am the vocalist / lead guitarist. We started this band many years ago. We're going on 23 years as a band.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So we started in 1998, in November of 98. And that's just saying that is like, what the fuck?
Crazy.
Right.
We're old.
I
but
was
we've
8
been
years
doing-
old.
Yeah, there you go. We tell a lot of people that. We're like, I bet you we were a band before you were even fucking born for a lot of you, which is actually the case now.
Yeah,
But
sure.
we met in freshman year in high school, 9th grade, in gym class. And I kind of was jamming with some dudes from middle school. Can you believe that? And
Yeah.
and then I met this guy. He was jamming with another mutual friend of ours. They were kind of jamming, and then they weren't jamming. And I said, "Hey, we need a drummer. You wanna do something?" And we went to this dude's garage and jammed it out. And we're like, "All right, you're a drummer now."
Yeah,
Right.
pretty much it was just one of those things where I wanted to join a real group of musicians and have a band. And the other guys I was jamming with were kind of just messing around. You know, they weren't really serious about what they wanted to do. And I was just like, met up with this dude at PE, and he was, I think you were wearing like a Metallica shirt, and I was probably
Probably.
wearing a Korn shirt or something.
Sounds about right.
One of our other buddies was like, like a mutual friend. He was kind of like, the glue kind of brought us all together to the jam. And,
Yeah.
ever since then, we've been musical butt buddies.
23 years later, here we
That's
are.
crazy. Right.
And it's funny because they're like, they weren't really serious musicians, those guys. We were all 14. Who the fuck was serious about anything?
well,
But it's funny that back then we were all like, we really want to do this, guys. We're like old men,
Yeah.
but we're 14.
For 14 was
We're 14 going on 40 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's crazy. That's a long time,
Yeah.
yeah.
and to still be together. That's a really cool thing,
Yeah, at this point, we can't really break up
right?
because it's like part of our DNA
Yeah,
at this point.
it's
So
hard.
we can't get rid of this guy. He can't get rid of me.
We've tried.
He can't get rid of me. So
Right. Your
Yeah.
guys' last album, Gone is the Light. That was both of you that just recorded it then?
Yep, that was me and this guy.
Wow.
Wicked.
Drummer extraordinaire over here and all
Right.
the percussion and all that shit. And then I did everything else.
That's a
The writing
killer
process
album.
started with 4
Yeah.
members.
Yeah, so there were 4 members. And so a lot of those songs were written by our old guitarist, Roland, who was also in Zombie Eating Horse
Yeah.
for a while. And so he wrote a few of the songs. And then we got this bassist named Colby. He's someone that we've known forever. He used to be in a band back in the day. He was in a few bands, but the one that we met him with is this band called Blackheart Eulogy that we used to play with years ago. And he was the drummer of that band, but he played bass for us. He plays all kinds of instruments or whatever. And he wrote some of the raddest jams on the newest album. Unfortunately, he had a split He's a tattoo artist and he owns his own tattoo shop. So he had a lot of other things going on in his life. He just had another kid. So there was just like so many responsibilities he had to take care of. So he graciously stepped away and said, you know what, you guys could use, those songs are ours. They record them. They're yours. They, have them. If you need me to come in and record the bass or whatever, play a show here and there. But, I got to kind of step away because there's a lot on my plate. So
that must have been so tough for him.
Yeah. I mean, and it had been the first time he had played in a band in a while. I know that for a fact because his wife would tell me, like, this is the first time he's done it. And it's cool to see him be playing music again. It's been so long, and so he hasn't been able to do that. He's been so caught up with the family and the business. So, but he was smart about it. I mean, he's got to take care of number one and his family and things like that. So totally understand. Yeah. But he blessed us with some of his songs, and he gave us his blessing and said, "Yeah, go forward, live long and prosper." And and so we did that, and so that's why we ended up as two of us recording the album. And I mean, we recorded it right before the pandemic hit. Before we did it, January, February last year.
Yeah, because it came out in June or something like that, right?
What's up?
It came out in June or July.
Yeah. It came out in July, I believe, but we finished about February, and then that's when, like, I remember March 13th was when everything shut down. It was Friday the 13th. That's when it was over.
Yeah, and you guys got hit. You were one of the first places to shut down because I remember.
Yeah, and California
crazy.
was like, we're still like one of the places that's a lot more restrictions, right? They're starting to lift them, but it's still very much restricted compared to other places. So
it was weird seeing photos of LA with like nobody at all.
Yeah,
it was like a zombie movie. I was waiting for zombies.
Like early in the morning, no traffic, like.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Right, because that's when you picture LA. That's what you picture is the freeway with cars. Oh yeah, you know what I mean? Like, right. And then there's images of it, and then just like ghost town. And you're like, what
I mean, that's definitely the one thing I'm gonna miss when they open everything. Traffic's and you can tell now how. You can tell now how.
Yeah, traffic's back in LA.
Oh yeah, it's back.
It's back right now. Yeah.
Worst part.
We were spoiled by the no traffic for the last year.
Yeah, that was one of the blessings, but yeah, so we recorded it, and then everything shut down. I don't want to say I'm pretty sure. May have had COVID while we were recording the album because there was a point where I was doing the vocals and I just couldn't. Like I was practically passing out after every scream. And I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm fucking too old for this shit. Like I just can't do it anymore. I was living off of these right here. I was living off of these guys right here. My favorite, bottled Mexican Coke. And I was like, this is gonna cure me. Like I'm like the Mexican that I am, thinking like a Coke is gonna fucking fix me. And I'm just drinking them, and I'm like sleeping, and I have the chills. And I had like a fever for like 2 weeks. Like when I. Like, when you get sick when you're a little kid and it's just like, you're way too sick when you're little, that's what it was. I hadn't been that sick since I was a kid. Oh, and then looking back in retrospect, I go, wait a minute. Did I have COVID?
Right.
Who knows? I don't know. Yeah. But turns out it was a respiratory thing, right? And that's what COVID is. So.
Yeah, exactly. And then, like, I'm asthmatic, so I know exactly what you mean by, like, there's some times where I can't physically take takes because I'm just like, my lungs are like, hey, fuck you, Rob. Like, right.
And you suffer with asthma, and I don't have asthma. So for me, it was just like, what's happening to my body? I don't understand.
Yeah. It's definitely a psychological trip when you can't physically breathe. People don't realize that. Like it induces panic, like a weird panic. That like, I don't know, drowning is like the only way to describe it. When you can't breathe, you know what I mean? It's but it's funny being a vocalist because like you just give it all, right? And sometimes you can't be able to do it, and you're just like, no, fuck it, I'm gonna keep going. And then off stage, you're like, this is like, fuck it.
And my shit is temperamental too. Like some days I just don't have it, like some days it's like it comes out so free and easy, and I'm like, all right, today's a good day to do vocals. And then sometimes, and then So when we were recording, every day was a bad day. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I warmed up, I did all my this. I've been, I usually like to eat a meal like pretty, like close to before. I mean, not to where I'm burping and shit, but like close to when I do it. For some reason, when I eat, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Try all the tricks, right? And for some reason, and now then look back, you're like, oh man, maybe I fucking had the Rona, man. Like, it could have been in. So,
Yeah, no,
but we did it. We finished it.
It's a killer album. Like,
well, thank you. Oh, yeah.
It's trippy too, because like your guys' latest single that you put out is completely different. Like the one that I believe, I can't remember what it's called. I don't even know if I can pronounce it.
Is it Epilogue? No, we haven't done that one yet. Huh?
It's almost like it sounds like it's almost hip hoppy. Is that it? It was weird. Like on your guys' Spotify, it was coming up, and I was like, I don't know.
I don't know. Is it us?
That's what I'm wondering.
You know what? Our Spotify is kind of mixed up with a couple of other Antagonist artists.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So if you hear anything that sounds techno, it's not.
Definitely not us.
Yeah, okay. Because I was like, whoa, dude, like what a transition from like this crazy heavy metal to like almost Russian hip hop.
It's just so hard because there's multiple artists that go by Antagonists, and they're just underground like DJs and stuff.
Yeah.
So we can't really do anything about it.
Especially if they're in other countries.
It's one of those
too,
things,
right?
and a lot of them are from overseas. So there's only one band that was, there was an Antagonist, like a thrash band in the 80s that like, way before we were a band, broke up way before we were a band. So that's whatever. But there was another, like a hardcore, like a metalcore band that came out years, I mean, it's hard to say they came out, because we came out before a lot of people just because we're fucking so old. But
they've been around for a while.
But they'd been around for a while, and they had actually messaged us. I mean, years ago. This was years ago. And they're called Antagonist, and they're from New Zealand. And it was really cool of them. They messaged us out of nowhere, and we're like, "Hey, we're called Antagonist. I'm sure you've heard of us. Like, we've heard of you. You guys are rad."
Yeah, we would get mixed up with them a little bit back then.
Yeah. We got a lot of Australians and New Zealanders like adding us, which is fine. It's cool. You made a mistake, but hey, you're on our page now. But they're like, you guys are cool. Like, you guys are rad. We'll probably never tour the States. If we ever do, for some reason, like, we'll change our name, but we're going to actually add the AD to the end of our name out of respect for you guys, because you guys have been around longer. I was like, oh, that's really fucking cool. Like, you didn't have to do that at all.
That's them. That's funny, because when I went to send you guys the message, I saw AD, and I was actually curious about that. I'm like, wonder.
And they're sick, and they're good. And they're like a good, like straight up like metal hardcore band. So they were really nice. They did.
It's cool to see how bands work together, right? Because it's cool to see how bands work together.
Oh yeah.
Because I was in a band in high school. Like, we've been friends since I think we're 5 years old. And then we played side-by-side bands from like grade 12 till the end of high school, kind of a thing. But I was in a band called the Pasties. And there's a band from the States called the Pasties.
Oh.
And we had like this running battle of who originally had the name. And eventually our band broke up and they got to keep it. But they were really cool too. Like, they were like a 70s. I don't know.
They got to keep the pasties, you know?
They got to keep them.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's cool when you find dudes doing the same thing you do that are just like cool dudes, that are just nice guys, that are just not, it's not like it's friendly competition. Yeah. It's not like you hate each other or like, fuck these guys, we're going to, get our name back or whatever. It's just like, oh, that's cool. Let's see you can, get more, fans or whatever, it's friendly competition.
I think that's what's missing too in music nowadays, is that friendly competition, because people are always, they've turned it into like almost a sport. We're not sports. We're like, we work together.
Yeah.
You can't do a show by yourself.
It's hard. It's hard now, especially because, man, the social media game is a young man's game. And I just started our Antagonist TikTok out of necessity. I'll be the first to admit I fucking hate it.
Yeah, me too.
Because it's like, it's so hard to try and make content that people give a shit about. And then you start to realize, like, this is what I've been relegated to. Like, I'm trying to get hits on TikTok. Like, fuck, man.
We're supposed to be writing songs.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be making metal, man. Like, We're not supposed to be researching fucking TikTok algorithms and bullshit.
Right? Yeah.
But
no,
at the same time, you kind of have to do it now because that's
Yeah.
that's the
Horrible.
platform now. So it's like, ugh. So
it's
it's
super
rough.
weird.
Yeah,
weird
we're trying to stay relevant, but it's it's hard.
It's not just TikTok though. It's
Yeah.
Instagram, it's YouTube, Facebook.
Yeah.
Which I've kind of given up on.
We
Yeah, I've definitely given up
we
on-
just started our OnlyFans, so that'll be coming out real
Right.
soon.
Yeah.
We're working on our OnlyFans right now. We just haven't hit publish yet.
Right? It's basically this we have to do now. I feel like you have to either
wants to
dance
be
or
an
show your
Antagonist
titties.
OnlyFans. Ain't nobody want. There's no market for that. I'll tell you
Right?
what.
I'll give you a preview right now. I know.
No, it's definitely it's changed. It's changed quite a bit, and to the aspect where we have to. It's a popularity contest. There's nothing to do with music anymore.
Yeah. We got to sell T-shirts.
Right?
It's like you got to do everything besides play music sometimes. And kind of
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some bands are just really good at it.
Right.
Some bands are just. I mean, there's some. At the end of the day, I think though, if you're gonna last, if you're not writing good songs, you're not gonna fucking. It's gonna be here today, gone today, right?
Yeah.
But if you're a good band with good songs and you know how to work that fucking angle of social media and merch and like content and stuff, then you got it made. And there's a band right now that I'm really into that I feel like they fucking figured it out and they're doing such a good job with it. And once touring starts, they're gonna be huge. I mean, they're already blowing up and they're basically been an online band for the last decade. They've toured like 2 weeks total in their career, and then that was it. And then COVID happened, and now they're gonna blow up. So they figured it out, and that's how to do it, man. I think that's one of the things that kind of fucked us early on was like not knowing the business side of it.
Yeah.
I've been
And-
saying that to a lot of people. It's weird. It's been weird to adapt. Like I was saying that to our guitar player today. Is that he keeps telling me like, yeah, we gotta go look at it as a business aspect, but at the same time, we have to keep that heart. And I'm like, yeah, but at the same time, we don't have the option to go and perform, and that's where our heart is. So we kind of have to adapt as this weird new species of musician, and it's a weird game.
Yeah. And I mean, like the business side of it, that's why so many bands, you've heard so many stories of like just record labels and just fucking bands so bad. You know what I mean? Because most of these bands are just trying to make music and go on tour, and that's it. Like you think that when you sign to a record label, at least I did, it was like, cool, now all we have to worry about is making music and touring, and that's it. Everything else, the point of a record label is that they'll do like the legwork, like they'll do the other side of it.
You got to work harder once that happens.
Yeah, you got to work harder, and not only that, I feel like a lot of times record labels will see that, and I don't want to say they're all predatory, but I'm sure there's a lot of record labels that are predatory. Like, we see this nice product that we could sell, and they're young and kind of dumb, and we might be able to take advantage of that, right? Like, because they don't know any better. We'll just send them out there tour, and they'll be happy just living off ramen in a van.
Right.
While we're bringing in the money, and I mean, that definitely wasn't us. I mean, I don't think we made the label we were on any money, but but again, I feel like I do feel like we got kind of screwed over in a few ways. I think the label has something to do with that.
Empty promises.
I think we have something to do with that too, though.
Well, of course. Yeah.
We have, again,
part of the equation.
Yeah, so I mean, I think they did a lot of empty promises, and I think we had a lot of.
We could have been a little bit stronger.
A little naive, and we were a little naive.
Yeah.
Again, we just wanted to make music, and we're like, hey, let's just go out there and tour. And there was like a lot of offers that were made just because we had friends that were already doing it and making it and like having success, and they were like, come on tour with us. And no, we got to wait for the label.
Yeah.
Because they told us to wait, and then we passed up all these really cool opportunities because they said wait, and then nothing happened. So it's just like, ugh.
Yeah,
So,
I definitely think major labels are a thing of the past. I have a huge respect for independent labels.
You got to do
Especially
it.
because a lot of them nowadays are understanding that the industry's changed.
Yeah.
So they're not even like paying for recording and stuff anymore. You know, you get full rights to your music, kind of a thing. They'll just do distribution, and I think that's kind of where it's going to lead to.
I mean, I don't know how long record labels are going to be around, to tell you the truth. Like, besides major labels, like, bands are just doing it on their own at this point. Because you can. They have all the tools to do it. And you just, like I said, the band I was talking about earlier was Spirit Box. And I'm sure you've heard of Spirit Box, right?
Yeah, aren't they from Vancouver? I'm pretty sure
they are from Vancouver Island. Yes, they are.
Yeah, they're local for us.
Right, exactly. But they're blowing up. They're humongous.
Yeah, they're massive.
And it's because they figured out the game. Like, they killed it on social media.
Gent shit posting group. If you guys aren't in it, join it.
they made a video for every single they had, and they did that too, which is like, nobody does albums anymore.
Right.
They do singles and they do EPs, and because then you could spread it out and you could release more often, and then that way you stay relevant instead of let's sit here and write a fucking 10-song album, comes out, and that's what you're touring on for 2 years, and then that's it.
Yeah, no, we
People
literally dropped our single in January, and I just released the music video, I think, on Wednesday.
There you go.
I waited 2 months just to drop the music video, so like you gotta kind of stretch it out now, right?
No, you do.
Oh,
you do. But that's the way to do it.
And it's okay now to do it like that.
Yeah.
You could put a music video out 2 years later, and some people are just like sick, you know?
Yeah.
It's just a weird model now.
That's kind of what we're doing, but I mean that has to do more with COVID.
Yeah.
We put out the album came out in July, but we haven't played on it because there's been no shows. So it's like this album is gonna last us hopefully another year because it's like once shows start, then we're gonna start playing on it, and then by that time hopefully we'll have a new batch of songs to put out an EP or something. So right now, we're not done with it. We're almost done with doing a video for one of the songs on the album that we just filmed. We filmed the performance part of it a few weeks ago. And so, that's going to make it hopefully relevant again. And it's like, we've seen clips of it and it looks fucking awesome. It's the first proper video we've done since 2006 or something.
Oh, wow.
We've made our own videos and stuff, but this is
2007.
it looks fucking dope, and we're very excited. And our friend is doing it. Our friends are doing it, and they're really, they've actually. Well, Chris has, but Alex has never really done it, right?
I think this is his first music video.
So our friend Alex, he plays in a band called Suicide Silence. I'm sure you've heard of them.
Yeah.
And he plays drums, and we grew up with him too. The friend that introduced us is his older brother, who's our age. Alex is a year younger than us.
Okay.
And
so crazy.
but anyways, so we grew up with that guy, and his first band played in my backyard, and you know what I mean. So we've known this kid forever, and he's ridiculously talented artistically in every way. And so it's I told him, Alex, you ever think of making a music video? And he's like, actually, yeah, I've thought about it. Let's make a music video. And he's like, okay. And he's like, I got a friend named Chris, and he does this thing called Demise Photography, and he has some cool cameras, and he did stuff for Suicide Silence at our live show that we did, and he's awesome. Let me talk to him. And he talked, and then a week later he had a video treatment, and he's like, let's go on location to the Salton Sea, which is it's basically was a resort town in the 60s that shut down and is pretty much a ghost town now.
I heard about that.
Go to visit it because it's fucking weird, and
it's a man-made ocean.
It's a man-made sea. That fucking way to go, guys! Right? It blew. Yeah, nature doesn't work that way. Yeah. So anyway, so people just go to
fucked up. It's a ruins basically.
It's ruins, and it smells, and it's cool, and it's kind of weird, and people go to take pictures and stuff. Funny story, funny tidbit. We went to film the video, and Spirit Box was there doing a photo shoot.
Oh wow!
No way.
That's so
right next to us.
Very random.
Not planned. We didn't know they were going to be there. We just picked the day to go film it, and they were right there. And of course, Alex knows them because he's toured a million times and has toured with a bunch of bands. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I know them. I knew them when they were in I Wrestled a Bear once." So they were talking and stuff, but it was just what the fuck? What are the odds? It's so fucking weird. In the middle. It's a 2-hour drive from where we live in the middle of the desert. So
Crazy.
the odds of that are fucking. I don't even know the odds.
That's
of that.
fate for sure.
So yeah, it was real weird, but it was like, what? I was kind of fangirling a little bit. So
Right.
I'm not gonna lie.
Carl had a moment.
I had a moment. Yeah, we were actually talking about him on the way because Chris, who was also filming the video for us, is like, oh, dude, I love them. They're like so sick. I've been listening to them, and then we're like,
Our buddy that's playing bass with us has never heard them, so we were kind of explaining to him like, "Oh, you need to check them out."
yeah.
Mhm.
And then we get there, and Alex is like, guess who's here? Like, what do you mean? Guess
Guess who's
there's
here?
someone here that we know? Well,
Fuck
that
out of
I
here. What do you
know.
mean? That's
It's like
hilarious.
Spirit Box. I'm like, you heard us talking about them. Nope. They're here.
That's
Right.
crazy.
And they were like real nice. They're like, oh, I hope we're not like in your shot or everything. Like,
Right?
be in our shot, do whatever you want.
Dude, total islanders. Like, people from the island are so, like, chill.
Oh, I bet. I mean,
Yeah,
people
they're
from
total hippies.
Canada are chill.
Yeah. Especially
Californians and Californians are more chill than other parts of the United States.
Yeah,
but
I've always said that BC, Alaska, Portland, Washington, and California should break off into our own country because we're the West Coast and we're
I'm
all
not.
badass.
Hey, I'm not mad at that, dude. I mean,
We'll take Hawaii
I'm real
too.
good with
'cause
that, dude.
they're technically West Coast.
I mean, I'm
Where
not.
do I sign?
I don't want to get too political because I'm going to be here for hours if I do. But I'm good. I'm good with that. I'm
Yeah.
good with that.
No, it's a crazy world, definitely, for being a musician now,
Yeah.
because like you have to appeal in such a stupid way. You're not a musician anymore. You have to become a YouTuber.
Yeah, I'm not
Or-
funny. We're not funny. Like
Like,
we're.
yeah,
This
like I'm
guy's
funny
in
looking.
his own way that I know him,
Yeah.
and I might say some funny bullshit sometimes, maybe, accidentally.
Yeah,
But I'm not like I'm gonna get on TikTok and make something funny. Like that's
yeah, no,
Like we don't know how to ham it up, you know?
no, we don't know. I don't know how to tell jokes.
Yeah.
no,
What?
yeah, no. I'm definitely not a funny person. Like, coming up with like funny content doesn't really work for me. I don't understand it.
I tried, man.
Or like I
just
see
failed.
what's trending and I'm like, how the fuck is this trending? Like what person is creating this as a trend?
Yeah, my humor is way too dry for some people, you know?
Yeah, right.
For my girlfriend sometimes, she doesn't know that I'm fucking around with her, you know? And I'm like, gee, I'm joking. And she's like, I can't tell sometimes.
Yeah, he's pretty deadpan. I'll tell you that. Pretty deadpan with this guy. And then for me, funny is just repeating Chappelle show quotes all day long, which is not my own material, so it doesn't even matter.
Right? Yeah, but it's Chappelle, so like Chappelle
Box
show.
of wine. Yeah, exactly. So not funny. So yeah, it's a really weird, strange world we're living in terms of being in a band. But like I said, we did this video. We're stoked, and we saw some clips of it. It looks fucking. I'm telling you, Alex is a fucking mad scientist, musician, artist, genius, and he's always been ever since he was a kid. He's just a creative fucking force, that kid, and and so we're really stoked on it. We got a friend of ours to play like Death, like walking around all scary. And he's like
That's dope.
6'7", like dude.
Nice.
That's
Perfect.
another dude that we grew up with.
Dreadlocks and everything.
Another dude we grew up with named Ruben. Love you, Ruben. He's actually he's also a musician. He plays in the Dirty Heads. Can you believe that? He's the trombone player for the Dirty Heads, which is like a reggae band.
Trippy.
Yeah.
I fucking love reggae.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
So-
my shit.
And he's played with like Travis Bart. Dude, let me tell you, I'm the first person to fucking name drop all my friends that are successful
Famous.
in music because I'm so fucking proud to call them my friends because they've been... Alex, I always name drop Alex.
Yeah.
Ruben, oh yeah, my friend Ruben, he plays trombone.
Yeah,
He plays with Travis
Travels
Barker
the
and
world with
Rancid
trombone.
and like, like I
Right.
tell everyone, I'm like, oh, you're that guy? Yeah, I'm
you-
that fucking guy. These
Yeah,
are
and
my
you guys are in
friends.
the perfect area too, though, right? Because I mean,
I mean,
the
we're
LA
kind of spoiled.
scene.
We live in a creative like area, which is weird because
Yeah.
there's a lot of metal bands from our town that are pretty well known around the world, like Skeletal Remains,
Mhm.
Ex Mortis. Who else is from around here?
Well, Suicide Silence.
Yeah.
I mean, we grew up with the Suicide Silence dudes and like the Faceless and
all the Orange County bands.
Winds of Plague
Yeah, of
and
course.
all those bands we came up with. Those are the bands we came up with.
Yeah.
And then the Orange County bands before we were like,
we're right next to that. You know?
yeah, we're right next to when that was cool, like in the early 2000s, like the Throwdowns and the Bleeding Throughs and the Betrayus and
I love
all
Betrayu.
that. So
Avenged.
Avenged Sevenfold, yeah, all that shit. So
Yeah, they were local bands for us at one point.
yeah, I know, yeah, they were local
So
bands.
that's a trip.
So there you go.
That's definitely a cool concept that like you guys have. You can there's that connection with your friends who have made it. You know what I mean? Like where we're from, I think there's been 4 bands that have made it out of the Okanagan. One of them is the Heavy.
Cool.
One of them's the Heavy. I don't know.
Okay.
They're like, I call them biker rock.
Mm-hmm.
They're total biker rock.
All right, all right. Bar rock, biker bar rock. Right.
Living Machines is getting out there now.
Yeah.
And they're like a pretty heavy band, and like some really gnarly bands from here, but we don't have the eyes on BC, even though the bands that are here are crazy. Like there's some like crazy talented bands here, like Drop Dead Fred. They're like they almost sound like In Flames.
Oh, that's a good name too.
Yeah, and they're such solid band, dude. Like Chase is one of the most talented guitar players I've ever seen in person. Like I watch him play, and I'm like, I've played for almost 20 years, and I'm like, how the fuck do you do this? So yeah, it's slowly getting picked up, but even the Vancouver scene has died pretty badly. Like there's there's like one venue now. So
I'll tell you what though, there might be eyeballs on you guys soon because of Spirit Box. We know that's what usually happens. A band blows up from an area, and then labels kind of pounce and what else is going on around there. That's what happened with us when we first got signed to Prosthetic. We were signed to Prosthetic Records.
Oh, shit, you guys were signed to Prosthetic?
Yeah, we were signed to Prosthetic,
I literally just sent them out an email for our band.
Oh, there you go.
2 days ago, yeah, that's hilarious.
So we were on Prosthetic Records. We put out 2 records on Prosthetic. Supposed to be 3, but I'm not going to talk about that. Yeah,
it was still a hell of an accomplishment.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean,
it was a fun experience.
Pros and cons.
Yeah.
But during that time, we were like getting like recognized by some other labels. That's what usually happens. One label kind of sees you. They all talk to each other. It's a real small community, even though
they're all friends.
Yeah, so they're like, oh, you're talking to them. So like Media Scare was talking to us, and we were kind of talking to Sumerian Records, and we even Whispers, and then we even like met with Mike Gitter, who was the A&R guy of Roadrunner Records, who signed like some of our favorite bands ever, like Kill Switch and Glassjaw and like fucking all these fucking bands. That we met with him when we were in New York on tour, and we played a show that he was DJing, and he like took us to the offices the next day, and we were like, right.
He hung out with us for a day, and it was nice.
Yeah. So, but during that time, like all our friends' bands were getting signed. As Blood Runs Black got signed, The Faceless got signed, Winds of Play got signed, Suicide Silence. I think they were a little later.
They were like talking to labels around that time, though.
Yeah, but then they ended up getting picked up by like Century Media, right?
Yeah, they played it out a little bit longer.
Yeah,
which was probably the best move.
Yeah, and they're
still relevant.
Yeah, they're still out of all of those. They're the ones that are still kicking it. I don't know if you saw, but they just announced that fucking Ginger Suicide Silence tour.
Yeah,
that's got rescheduled. Yeah. So that's huge.
Yeah,
I just saw that this morning.
Right, I'd give anything to meet Tatiana.
so that
would be fanboy for me. I'd be like, oh
well,
my
God. Did you know? See here, I'm gonna name drop again.
He's jammed there a lot.
I've jammed her there a lot,
dude.
He's done karaoke and
man
shit.
How can she go from her clean vocals to that fucking deep scream so
gnarly? And I'll tell you what, dude,
she just does it.
Right? It's like 2 different people in one body.
I gotta tell you a story of how first meeting her. Okay, it's funny. I don't know if you know, but Alex and Tatiana are married. I don't know if I'm supposed to say it, but they are.
It's
been put out there. They're married. They just got married in the summertime. Very small, like little ceremony.
Pretty hush.
Because of pandemic. They're still waiting for things to open up so they could have like a big blowout. Right. The thing about Alex, his house, his family's house, the Lopez residence, was the party house. That's where all of us hung out all the time.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
We jammed in his garage because all the shit was set up in there, and then we just hang out every weekend and just eat Mexican food and fucking just hang out like. That's still the house.
Watch MTV.
Yes, watch MTV.
Back in those days.
23 years, 24 years later, or whatever that I've known him, because that's how long we known him. that's still the house where we hang out. So anyway, he brought her. I have a cover band with Alex's brother and a friend of mine named Chris, and we play 90s like rock alternative covers, like
cool.
Like Stone Temple Pilots and Rage Against the Machine and whatever.
Yeah.
We played at this spot in our town, and he brought her to the little club. It was like a little restaurant or something, cafe. And he's like, "Hey man, Tati is gonna go up there and sing Alice in Chains with you guys. Is that cool? Come on." "Oh, cool. Nice to meet you. I've never met you before." "Oh, what?" And she got up and did an Alice in Chains song with us, and it was just like, all right.
Wow.
And of course, killed it. And then that night, we ended up jamming like till fucking like 3 a.m. at Alex's house, parents' house.
It was later than that, dude.
The sun came up.
It was. I left like at 4 a.m. These dudes were still fucking strong.
I was, dude. I was
so
like, dude, I'm
funny.
jamming with dude. I'm jamming with her. I'm gonna fucking jam because this might never
Right.
happen again. So we're jamming.
Yeah.
So we're doing karaoke, and we're like, the acoustics came out, and I'm pretty sure Alex brought out his drum set because he's a fucking asshole, and it was awesome. It was like, holy shit, I have something to brag about now.
Right?
Oh,
That's
total.
so funny.
Again, I'm a name dropper. I'm no shame. Fuck it.
Yeah, no, I'm totally the same way too. It's so funny to hear different stories because each band members have the greatest stories. We have the most entertaining lifestyle, even if we're not like we never make it. Like,
Hey,
so
we have
fun.
some fucking funny ass tour stories that we still tell to this day.
Oh,
we
man.
find ourselves in these situations that, like, normies can never get into.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
we played a backwoods festival once, and my bass player got so high on acid, and he ended up like kicking out our drummer's window. And I woke up the next morning and saw it, and I saw
talking
it.
about.
He was like so pissed off, and the drummer's all fucked up on acid, and he's like jamming and with a broken snare, and I'm like, dude, I'm going home. You guys are fucked up. Like, it was so good.
See, that's the kind of shit though that you can tell forever, and it's like,
Yeah.
man, remember that time? Like, fuck.
Remember we got
As much
fucked
as
up
it's-
and broke everything? Yeah.
Oh my god, remember that time where we had to save someone for almost getting his ass kicked because he was like hitting on the dude's girlfriend that were staying at his house. Or, like,
We have a story about our friend who got in a fight with a bum at Burger King on tour. He got punched by a bum at Burger King. He tried giving him a hamburger. What? Is this something?
Oh, I was there.
Yeah, he was there. He witnessed it.
I witnessed it.
I was just told this story about a million times. But
Basically, we were on tour with our friend's band. We were outside of Burger King, and it was me and a few other dudes, and they were smoking, and this homeless guy, dude was like 6'5" and like 300 pounds. He was gigantic. He was a giant, and he said, I don't know what he said. He said some nonsense to them. He's like, "You're going to take me from here to here." They're like, "What?" Like, with your van, you're taking me from here to here. He's like, "No, we're not." And before we could even answer him, he was eating a cheeseburger out of the trash. Before we could answer him, he's eating this cheeseburger out of the trash. "We're going to take it from here to here." He fucking throws the cheeseburger at one of my friends, and while in mid-flight, he punches the other one in the face. Bah! And we're just like, what the fuck just happened? I don't know how my friend took that punch. The guy was gigantic. But then he started chasing our bassist at the time, around the van. He started chasing him around the van. And we like got in the van and like fucking, we were like, what the fuck? Got like the fire extinguisher of the van. Like, we were ready to fuck this guy up. And then he fucking disappeared. This gigantic dude that could be seen from a mile away was just gone. It's the
Hiding
weirdest
underneath the van.
Dude, might still be here.
I never even thought of that possibility.
But he was
Like,
on a
you're gonna
rampage,
take me
man.
there one way or another. Like, I'm hopping underneath the fucking van. We'll get there.
He was on top. I don't know where he was, but maybe he got to where he needed to go, and he left us.
Oh my god, that's fucking hilarious.
But like, those are the things that we could fucking remember. And be like, oh
Tour
god,
stories right there.
Right?
that's the shit you remember. I'll tell you what. There's some shows you remember, but the shit you really remember are the dumb shit you're doing, and like, and the people you meet too, the cool ass fucking friends you make on tour. I feel like there's people that we've seen on tour that we saw more when we were on tour than we were like, when we're at home, right? Like, because you don't, they're from bands from other towns or whatever, or like promoters from other towns that we always, hook up with and like, oh man, good to see you. Like, and we hang out with them and it's really cool. And we still chat with them online and stuff. I just had some dude from Spokane, Washington, our dude Ryan hit us. I was like, man, I miss you guys. Like, oh man, maybe hopefully we'll come back up there one day. Like,
Right.
so. Well, we haven't seen him in fucking years, 10 years, 15 years.
Wow, yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
but it's really cool. Those people you get to meet, That's the biggest.
I think the best is when your friends move away and you show up to their town.
That's
and
cool.
They randomly show up to your show and you're just like, man, it just feels
You feel
so
like
good.
you're at home. You're like, I'm
Yeah.
comfortable now. Like, my boy's here. Like,
Yeah, I performed in
cool, man.
Vancouver.
We're good.
I
Show
opened
me
up for Mocha Only once in Vancouver at Fortune Sound Club, I think it was, and my best friend JP came running in randomly halfway through my set. I was performing, looked down, and he was right there, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" It was just like such a surprise. So good that we got hammered after too. So I got to,
Fucking awesome.
yeah, it was a really good time. But
I've actually been that dude. When I went to Sacramento up north, I went to Aftershock Festival, which is a fest that is every year. And our boys, this band called Plague Vendor, they're from Whittier, they're from our town. Totally different music than us. They're like, I don't know what you would call them.
Like they're like punk,
Kind of
like
punk, kind of
goth
indie,
punk
kind of goth
almost. I don't
punk.
know.
They're
That's good.
dope.
Yeah.
But I went up there and they were playing, so I got right to the front. And I made sure to wear I have a shirt that says Whittier on it because we're all from Whittier.
Mhm.
And so I'm wearing it. I'm like trying to get his attention. Brandon! He's like, he's doing his thing, but then he's like, what the fuck is going on? He notices me. He's like, oh shit! And he loses just because he's like seeing a familiar face, right? Just
Yeah.
so happy to like, this is a dude from my town that I grew up with. Like, he got so stoked just to
Yeah.
fucking like, he got out of his little zone for his frontman zone for a second. Is like, fuck. You know what? Oh, and then I did that to him in Chicago too. They played at Riot Fest. And I went to Riot Fest. And I was
just
like,
start following him around and fucking
dude,
with him.
yeah, I mean, these are festivals that I was going to go to anyway, and they happen to be playing. I was like, fuck yeah, we're hanging out with Brandon. We're hanging out with the fucking Plague Vendor dudes.
That's
and
so
that
dope.
they're just like, just knowing that they're away from home and to see, it's that comfort. Like you feel like you're at home. Like, oh, you see
Yeah.
people from your town. They're like, oh, I know this guy. So I'm good now. We're comfortable now. So
Yeah, it is a good feeling when you have old friends support.
Oh yeah.
Like it's a great feeling for sure. And I
Like I
think
said,
it's always
I'm
good
a
to
big
meet new
name
people, too.
dropper. I'm all about supporting my friends. We're all about supporting our friends. This guy too, man. I'm more like a talker about it. I'm more like a name dropper. This guy like really like a lot of social media like promotion and like these are my guys. You go out to a lot of local shows.
Yeah, I go to a lot of local stuff, and I buy like everyone's albums and pre-order stuff like that. Like, I'm all about it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely it needs to be happen more. That's what I've been doing too. Like since I started Enigma, I've been trying to help as many bands as possible by either like buying merch or one way or another. And it's definitely it's what we need is that community, you know?
Yeah.
We're running out of greats, man. Like all the legends and all the classic bands they're disappearing.
Mhm.
You know, and it's just they're a victim of time, basically.
Yeah, I mean, look at AC/DC. They had to fire Brian Johnson quit because he couldn't hear, and they had to hire Axl Rose. Couldn't compete. It's like if you're going from one major rock star to another major rock star, and he can't even keep up to it, like
Yeah.
eventually we're not gonna have any music unless people start paying attention to us.
That's exactly right.
Mhm.
And like who's the next who's taking the torch, man? Because I feel like these bands are still able to do it because people still love and appreciate what they've done. But now, who's going to take up the mantle?
Yeah, I
Who's
think
next? Who's
I
going to
think
be
it's
like
the new bands
Rhythm.
too. They've stayed true, like your guys as friends. You know what I mean? Like the reason they're still relevant, I think, is because of hard work, dedication, and just the fact that they stayed true to what they did. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think every band does essentially.
Mhm.
Some bands are able to get seen quicker, faster, and make it further. But I think at the end of the day, it becomes just a community that's been torn apart because we used to be able to open for those kind of bands. You know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
Exactly.
now we have no option when they come to town, kind of a thing, unless you personally know them and you're like, please get me in. And even then,
Yeah.
like, they can't do anything about it because they're just performing.
Yeah.
The gates are being held tighter these days, you know. And I mean, sometimes it has to be done, but you know, I've heard people say like about how Slayer didn't really take any new bands on tour with them for a long time and stuff like that, and you know,
I think it'd be cool to see all these up and coming bands that are the ones we all look up to,
right?
saying fuck their label and starting their own labels and helping emerging bands. You know what I mean? Because they've been there, they know what it's like. Like we've talked to Semper Cerbis and Cauterized from Texas, and both those bands are working with Ruben from Upon a Burning Body.
Okay.
All right.
And he's doing their videos and stuff. And like for me, like Upon a Burning Body is, you know, like they're sick as fuck.
Right.
And have Ruben be so dedicated to the underground community is such a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah.
Because apparently he does it. They'll do local shows and have local bands open for them. And I think
That's sick.
Yeah, and I think that needs to happen more.
Yeah, I mean, I would love for that to happen more.
Right?
Especially for us. I mean, we've been doing it for so long, but I mean, we're at a point in our career as a band that's like, you know, we can't do it full time like we used to. We all have our day jobs, like, you know, we can't be touring. I mean, I would love to be able to tour like at least once a year. That'd be great, but there's not a market for it for us. Like there's not
changed
dramatically. Yeah, there's not a line of people waiting to see us, and that, you know, that's just reality. I think it would help if, you know, other bands could be like, hey, come with us for a week, even if it's like a week here and a weekend there or whatever. But at the same time, it's hard to expect that from certain bands, because a lot of these bands, even if you see them and they're successful and they're doing it, like
they're barely making it.
They're barely making it, like financially. Like it's a real thing, and
it's
it's
the major record deals, right? Those 360 contracts.
Yeah. It's that. It's the oversaturation of bands. Like once we were in a weird spot when we signed with Prosthetic, because we were right at the cusp of like, okay, now CDs don't matter anymore. Now it's all digital. And we were right at that cusp.
Right before the vinyl craze, too.
Yeah, right before vinyl got big again. But it was just like, you have, at this, now all you can really do to stay afloat is fucking tour 10 months out of the year. Like, that's the only way to do it. That's what those bands did. That's what Suicide Silence fucking did. That's what, you know, Winds of Plague did. Those bands that we came up with, they fucking toured nonstop. And we wanted to, and we tried to, it just, we couldn't.
Yeah.
Things fell through or whatever.
We did it as much as we could,
right,
for about 5 years.
But like we didn't have even on Prosthetic, we didn't have a booking agent. We were still booking the tours on our own.
See, and that's one thing that sucks is the labels. I think you should be given a manager if you're a booking agent, a booking manager if you're signing to a label that has the money and resources to fund that. You know what I mean?
At least some kind of de facto type of manager.
Yeah.
Or something, you know?
Booking agent. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, all we wanted to do was tour, and we were willing to. That's the thing. Some bands aren't. And
we had the resources.
We were ready. We were like,
we were self-sufficient.
Send us out.
Yeah.
We've done this we've toured and booked our own tours for like, at that point, maybe like 3 or 4 years.
Bought our own vehicle.
Did our own thing, our trailer, whatever. Send us out. And we weren't, you know, asking for like, put us on tour with fucking Lamb of God. Like, we weren't asking that, you know?
We had our merch like on lock back then.
Yeah.
Our bassist used to print all our merch.
Yeah, he still owns merch, like a screen printing.
He still
company,
does. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we had it all ready to go, and it was just a matter of just put us on tour with bands that are like at our level. That's fine.
Yeah.
Put us on tour with fucking As Blood Runs Black, Conducting from the Grave, you know, these other bands, and it just didn't happen because they were like, we got really big plans for you, but it's like, but we don't.
That's why I've always kind of avoided
big plans. Like, we just need to be on the road. That's it.
That's why I get scared with big ones.
Hopefully it snowballs, you know?
Yeah, definitely scared with
like we're trying to put you on sort of Trivium and like...
Yeah, we weren't even really ready for that then either, man.
No, we need to get like our chops up and like, you know...
Sharpen the sword a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. But, but like, yeah, like you said, it'd be nice if a lot of these bands could help. And again, we're lucky to have like someone like Alex and all the dudes like Suicide Silence dudes. I bring them up a lot because that's a band that made it successful, and they throw us a bone anytime they can. Like they really do, and it's really cool. their last, not the album that just came out, but the album before that, the one that was not received very well. We played their CD release show.
Their party.
Their party, CD release party. It was
Listening
it
party.
wasn't the show, it was the listening party. And we played, and they're like, "You want to play?" Like, fuck yeah! Like, yeah, we'd love
Private
to do
party.
that. There was a
That's
private
sick.
party at Affliction, and Jose Mangin from Liquid Metal was
Yeah,
hosting it, and he was super
Yeah.
cool. And it was like, and then we did like a throwback show where Suicide Silence headline, and it was them, us, Suffocate, As Blood Runs Black, and Winds of Plague.
Oh wow.
And it was like it was a throwback show because a lot of, these are bands we always used to play with that we hadn't played with in like 10, 15 years.
See, that's so
So-
cool.
So they throw us a bone, man, and we love that, and we're so fucking grateful for that shit, So it's like there are bands that do it. There are bands that are willing to. A lot of bands are just not able to. Sucks. Like I said, a lot of these bands, even though they're successful, they're struggling, man. They're struggling financially and stuff because of these shitty record deals and just the way the business is right now. The record industry is rough right
It's
now.
not
man.
just metal. It's
No.
even pop artists. Because I work with pop artists and stuff like that, and I see how a lot of things in their world are, and it's really actually that some of them are even less professional than us. Believe it or not,
Yeah.
they don't have their shit as much together.
Yeah.
So it's just it's kind of tough all over for artists.
I feel like pop artists expect like things to be done for them, maybe.
Well, because they have bigger overhead too.
Right. And then like metal bands kind of we all are DIY. We do it yourself
Yeah,
until
we source
until
from
we
the dirt.
we do. That's because we have to out of necessity, right?
Yeah.
So
Pretty much ground up kind of shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the business is rough. That's why you have to be able to fucking corner certain markets like the TikTok game and the social media and all that shit. And if you're able to do that, man,
You're good.
you're fucking good. You're golden.
I always wonder, like, no matter how many likes you get online, how many of those people are actually going to come to your show?
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, that's the
That's
other
my
It
thing.
doesn't
biggest thing,
translate. It doesn't. Likes don't translate to people at
Yeah.
attendance at shows. No way.
I definitely think, like, when we were the 2010 era of
Okay.
music, like, there was a lot more all ages shows.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We appealed to younger crowds, and now it's like I think we all focused on these bars and these big crowds, but like people our age don't really have money to spend on tickets. They don't really want to. They'd rather buy a beer.
Yeah.
I think that's also what killed it is we kind of like closed off the younger crowd from metal by never giving them the opportunity to go see a metal show.
Yeah.
Totally.
So I think the easiest way to build your market would be to just say fuck it and start with some local all ages shows and build up those young fans, because like they're the ones who are really going to be dedicated to you. They're going to be like your Slayer fans, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because the last show that my other band played was at an all ages venue, and that's probably one of the best shows that we ever played.
Right? They
You know?
appreciate it.
Yeah, and
And
it's
I
just
mean-
there was kids there. There wasn't even a lot of kids there. There was probably like 40, 50 kids there, but they were just all enjoying Friday night, you
Right.
know.
And
And they never
like,
even heard of the other band that I have, and they were just loving it, you know.
and that's
so-
the thing is the hardest part about that is like security and making sure they don't underage drink. But realistically,
Right.
how hard is it to hire somebody to do that? You make way more money by having one of those kind of shows. You know what I mean? Charging $5 a head, you can get
I'm
security.
down
to
with
do it.
slushies.
Right? Yeah.
Well,
no,
that's
it's
the thing,
that's
though.
the thing.
And that's the thing. I mean, again, it's money. It's what it comes down to because again, these venues, they're trying to make money and they're trying to stay open. And even where we are, like, I mean, not even. I mean, I guess it makes sense. There's an oversaturation of bars and venues, and
Yeah.
so venues close down all the time. Like
Yeah.
they stay open for a month and then you don't hear about them anymore because for whatever reason, like they just can't pay the rent because it's so expensive over here to do that kind of thing. And so they rely, what do they rely on? They rely on their bar, right? To sell and make money.
Yeah.
So then they open bars and
It kind
then,
of like dislocates the music scene too.
yeah.
Mhm.
And there was a couple of all like really big all ages venues. And I mean big, like well known, like tiny little shitholes, but really well known all ages venues in our area that now sell alcohol.
Right.
Like where they never sold it ever before. So it's just like,
and people liked that fact.
yeah, people liked it that it was no alcohol.
Some
They
people
just
didn't like it.
yeah, I know.
But
But yeah, I mean, and maybe it's just like one of those necessary evils for some of these places are just like, I'm just trying to fucking stay open. Like,
Yeah,
so they
that's what it is,
start selling
right?
beer. So it's like, again,
I understand. Yeah,
I just think the music industry as a whole is just like, rough
it's not
spot.
about music.
And right now, after a year of places being shut down, like so many venues shut down, so many people lost their jobs. It's like, I'm just hoping that when shit opens again, that like people just flood venues, man. I don't give a fuck who they go to see. Like, obviously, I would hope they would go see, more local, more smaller kind of club venue, like not the big,
Stretch that dollar.
you stretch that dollar, exactly. Yeah. And I hope they do it, man, because, man, we need it. We desperately need.
We all need it.
Yeah, we all need it.
Everyone need it. The people need it.
Yeah. He needs it. Where his job that he works, like, they work at a backlighting, like they do backlighting and audio and stuff for shows, for big festivals, for all kinds of artists, big time artists, and you're just kind of like waiting for work to happen.
We're coasting along right now. We're doing like hip hop artists, music videos, and live stream videos, and it's cool. I mean, it's something to do. It's music. It's great, but we want the real thing,
Yeah, you're not doing Coachella like you did like a couple of years ago. Or
yeah, like we're waiting for Coachella to come back, and
all the big festivals over here.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that is a major, especially being like the music hub of North America. I can see it taking a huge toll on you guys.
Yeah, I mean, we could have festivals year round here. Basically, it's always right. It's always good weather, and like it rains like
I always say,
three times a year.
Yeah, it's true, hey? Yeah. And even it's weird that it is, you guys only do get rain very seldomly, even though you're like right there next to the ocean. You just expect it to be like a lot more moist. You know what I mean?
No, not at all.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Dry as hell. Dry as hell.
Yeah. No, it's
we're talking about the weather, not my fucking not my fucking stuff.
How is the local scene though, for emerging bands there? I just seem to be pretty fucking bumping.
Talk to me.
I feel it always kind of has its peaks and valleys, and I feel like right before the pandemic, it was kind of in a valley. I don't know. It's just weird to explain because, back when we were younger, we used to be able to kind of sell out local venues pretty easily on like Thursday nights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right.
And then once we got into touring and stuff like that, it seems like that's when things were changing. And then, we kind of had a little break, sort of a hiatus for a while.
What is the what does it all mean phase?
Yeah. And so when we came back from that, it was completely different.
Yeah.
And it's just weird. Like for us, it depends on who else we're playing with. Because we'll play a show with, say, like someone like the Faceless, and it'll be amazing. We get a good reception, and it's just a great night overall. And then we'll kind of headline a show, and it'll be a little more lackluster.
Yeah.
So it's just weird. The scene seems to be real choosy.
Fickle.
Yeah. And we've kind of talked about it before. I think a lot of it has to deal with the fact that you could just go on YouTube and see us play a show like in fucking 2005. Like you don't really need to leave your house for the Antagonist experience, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's what scares me, right?
Yeah.
Because there was a poll in Canada recently, and I think it said 20% of Canadians aren't going to go back to live concerts.
Oh.
And it was like 70-something%, I think, that would rather watch a live concert streamed.
Jesus.
I mean, I'm cool with watching the live stream as well, but
it's not the same, man.
Honestly, we watched Lamb of God live stream. He paid for it, and the whole band got to watch it and sit together, and it's not the same.
Of course not. No
way.
way.
It's not like it's great, but it's not like you don't get to feel the sweat.
Whitechapel opened up for them, and it was a concert streamed from like 2017 or something.
Was Art playing it? Was he already?
No, oh wait, maybe.
Was Art
Yes.
Cruz, was he already the drummer?
Art was playing.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Art was playing, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
when
it
we
was
saw
just
them.
this past summer.
Yeah, it was just recently.
Oh,
they
okay.
did
Oh, but
that
the
live
show
stream.
was like it wasn't from like years
No,
ago.
no, it was
No,
like
no,
they're
yeah.
streaming it live. You paid for tickets and you got to watch them. They were playing in,
Oh, that's sick.
and they were playing in Richmond, so it was kind of cool because they were in their hometown.
Oh, is that the album that they just put out live in
Yeah.
Richmond? Is that
Oh
what
wow.
that just came out like today?
Oh, did it? That's so funny.
Live in Richmond, like a live
Yeah.
album. Yeah.
I'm not even like up to date with the major artists. All I care about is us emerging ones. I'm like so delve into these new bands that I'm finding.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, fuck, I don't even care about all the
I
old
can't
bands.
stand the production on new like big production songs by metal bands. Like
Yeah.
it's just so clean, and I'm just like, oh man, this is garbage. Like it's just the same song over and over and over, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, like Architects, that production value. It's almost poppy production, right?
Oh
It
yeah,
doesn't
I
have
haven't
that
heard the album,
crisp-
but I mean that thing is like blowing up, right?
Yeah.
Like that thing is huge right now.
Because the songs are good, but it's just the way it's presented to you. It's like,
Yeah, you hear
how do you
Doomsday.
enjoy that with headphones on?
Yeah, right. Like I don't know. I hear the quality of their last album, with Doomsday, and I'm like, hear their new album, and I'm like, the quality literally sounds like there's auto tune on it, and
Right,
Yeah.
super polished, super polished.
way too polished. And like,
And I get it.
yeah.
I know what they're trying to do. they're trying to get to that next tier,
It's
man.
like the new
Well,
trades.
they're trying to appeal to exactly right, a bigger
Yeah,
audience.
they're trying to get to that, like, I don't know what bands are at that kind of level now.
I feel like they're
Like
stepping.
Bring Me the Horizon, A Day to
Yeah.
Remember, kind
Yeah.
of like that
Mhm.
kind of
Their new
tier
album.
of bands, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah,
I mean,
I like.
It's a
I love
town
bands
now,
that
you
stay
know?
true. You know what I mean? Like even if
Yeah.
like that's why I think I respect While She Sleeps so much.
okay.
Those guys are so true to their fans, their music, and themselves as like a band. It's insane. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just something about them. They're so hardworking, and they're not that big. They're big, but they're not.
I know the band.
what I
I'd
mean?
have to listen to them, but I know the
Yeah,
name.
that's what I mean. Like a lot of people, have heard of them, but they had never listened. Like if you ever sit
Yeah.
down and listen to one of their albums, dude, the bandmanship, like the musicianship between this band is insane. How hard
Yeah.
they work
Yeah.
is insane. Like their drummer's hands, he's got like I think it's arthritis or something. So when they record, he has to like tape his whole hands off
Oh
because he swells.
shit.
For 3 weeks, he's got like swollen hands, and he's got to perform like that. So like he's in pain while recording their albums, and he's like, I don't fucking care, dude.
Holy shit.
That's how I feel right
That's
now.
insane. That's
Yeah.
intense, man.
Right? Like look, this is from drumming right there. I got trigger finger from drumming.
Oh
Like
wow.
I have to like unlock it. It's such a weird thing just because of like constantly, like doing this with your hands and doing rolls and shit. Like
That's
My
one thing
muscle
I'm worried
memory is
about,
like
working
now.
the 9 to 5 job all the time,
right?
and using my hands constantly, and I'm like, fuck, I'm not gonna be able to play bass by the time I'm 50 or something, right?
That's why I quit being a chef. I almost cut my fingers off. I cut the tips of my guitar fingers off, and like
No, I need these.
I had to super glue them back on.
Oh,
And I was like, yeah, no, like I gotta get out of cooking because if I lose my fingers, I can't play guitar.
Yeah, that's the one thing. I don't fuck with my hands, man.
Yeah.
That's all I got going for me, dude.
Yeah, that's why I never got serious into snowboarding or skateboarding. This is if I broke an arm, I was fucked.
Yeah, dude.
I was playing in a different band a couple summers ago, and our lead singer was prone to seizures and had a seizure after one party we had one night, and they intubated him. And
crazy.
and yeah, like he was out for months because his vocal cords were so fucked. And luckily we were like a multifaceted band, so our drummer just kind of stepped in and did the vocals for us for a while. But yeah, it was fucked.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that sounds serious.
Right? Could you imagine?
I just complain about having a shitty back. That's way worse than
Right?
that's way worse than
It's things that you never think about, right? Like
that.
I'm at work. I work with sheet metal. Like I could
Oh,
lose
shit.
a limb at any point, right? And it's like,
That's scary.
is
Yeah,
this
that's
worth
scary.
it?
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, and it really like comes down to like how much you love your music, right? 'Cause I
Yeah.
know a lot of bands who they've given up. They're just like, oh, I'll never make it. I'm too old.
Yeah.
And I hate that mentality.
Yeah.
Like Tool, like Maynard didn't make it with Tool until he was 36. Their first album was picked
Oh
up
shit.
Yeah.
when he was 36 years old.
Hey man, that's how old we are. We
Right?
still got a
That's what I'm
chance.
Right?
saying. Like you think, I think it's like Morgan Freeman was 50 when he started acting,
No,
Right.
or somebody like that.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson.
He
Yeah.
was like 40 in
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction or something.
Well, dude, what was the one that I just heard? Totally different music, but Bill Withers. You know Bill Withers.
Yeah,
Bill
yeah.
Withers.
too.
He didn't pick up a guitar till he was like
30
in his
or
late 30s or no, like late 30s, early 40s or something. And then like, what? Like, how does that
Yeah.
happen?
There's no
And
such
you've
thing as
written some of the best songs ever. So it's just like,
yeah.
hey man,
Mhm.
I mean, it's hard to not be in that mentality when you've done it for so long, and you're
Yeah.
just like, ugh.
Especially when
But
you're
for
hitting,
some
like,
reason we keep coming
decades.
back, you know, like we keep doing it because, like I
Yeah.
said, at this point, it's like this is what we love to do. At the end of the day, we love making music, and you know, hopefully people like it too, and we get some more people to come along for the ride. But at this point, we're just like we love doing it, and we do it for fun. We're a serious part-time band because trust me, if we got the opportunity to tour, we'd do it.
Right.
We put a lot of time and effort into our songwriting, into our albums. We're not, half-assing anything. I try my best to do the social media thing. We do the merch thing. You know what I mean? So we're still trying really hard to do it with zero expectations because you can't. You just got to do it because you love doing it, right?
Yeah.
And then hopefully people dig it. I mean, because I think, like our last album, I really thought our last album was fucking dope. Like,
Super
I'll be
dope.
the first one to say it. Like, I think it's great.
Mhm.
I was really stoked on it, the way it sounds and just like the fucking performance we got out of it. So it's like, I know these songs are good. We know these songs are good.
People told us that they were good.
I mean, yeah, we've been told it's good. I just don't
Other
think.
people told us.
I just don't think enough people have heard it. So it's
Yeah.
like we got to keep doing it because you never know who's going to hear it.
Because we know people are listening to us.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, we see the numbers moving,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's just like, who are they?
Mhm.
So we're still trying to meet everybody.
Yeah,
You
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's the hardest part about being a musician now is not being able to network. Like when we perform, we can physically go and talk to the fans, thank them for coming out.
Yeah,
Hey, here's a sticker.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
you can't really do that anymore. So with
Yeah,
social
you
media,
have
you
so
have
many
to.
cool people doing that, man.
That's what I was saying. Meeting, yeah, that's right. That's like one of the funnest parts about being in a band is all the people you meet. Like
Mhm.
that's the fun part.
When
So-
we used to tour, part of my tour responsibilities was to mingle with people so we could find places to sleep at night.
yeah, man.
No, it's
Someone's
what you have to
floor. We've slept on many a floor.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, legit. We had our
I'm pretty
break
good
lines.
at
They
filling
like
people out, so I did pretty good. We never got.
We know. Well, I mean, we're still alive.
Yeah, right.
So we did
Hey,
it
baby, you
all
want a
right,
boyfriend
so-
for the night?
I mean, we've definitely had some fun experiences.
No, it's true. It's I think that's the best part about being in a band is like it's no one will understand it. And I think that's why I love our show is because it's like most people look at musicians and bands like, oh, they're just party and rock. In reality, it's like 3% of what we actually do is performing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
What about me, biggest partier here?
Well, this dude, he doesn't drink, smoke, or nothing, man. He just likes sweets and food.
right?
Sweets. I'm straight edge till I die, man.
Fucking-
Like for real. Like
OD on munchies.
yeah, that's it. So I
Yeah,
was
no.
always the babysitter a little bit.
Yeah, I don't drink.
He's the DD.
Yeah, I don't
This
drink at
guy-
all,
this
so it's
guy-
funny.
Barely drinks.
Right?
And so we didn't, that was never a thing. It was just like, let's
See, I wish
play
we
the
could
best
say
show
the
that we
same.
can. Let's
Our
play
guitar
the
player is
best show that we
British.
can. Let's go on our long ass drive and then let's go to the next.
Right?
That's it. That's
Our
it.
guitar player is British. He loves to drink. He's a good guy.
And it's
Yeah.
it's all good, man. Like whatever, as long as you could, as long as you could, do your responsibilities and do a good job and get
Oh,
up there
yeah.
and play the show. It's all good. But
Yeah, no,
our
he
ex-guitarist-
slays
He was
it.
the party animal in the band.
Yeah, our ex-guitarist is the partier.
You know.
It's
We
funny.
think
If,
y'all work then,
I
so
think
you
if
can
anyone
party.
in our band would be the partier, it would end up being Jake. I could see Jake being the partier for sure.
It'll end up being me.
Yeah, calmest one in the band. It'll be Norman.
Yeah.
There you go.
I get a couple drinks in me and my inhibitions go away.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You should see him on stage. It's awesome. He's like the
I
nicest
don't-
guy. And
I
then you
don't
see
need
him
to
now.
drink, man. I'm
Yeah.
a fucking weirdo without it, man. So
It'd be bad if you drank.
yeah, it'd be a
Definitely.
bad thing. I'd probably
I
start
find-
just like crying.
We wouldn't be here right now.
I
I'd
think
be
that's what
crying
also
and, like, spilling my
separates,
guts about nonsense.
right? I think that's also what separates professional bands versus, I don't like saying garage bands, but garage bands. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like those
yeah.
small venues is the ones who like are dedicated. Because like I know my bass player when I was in the Pasties, he used to spill beer on my fucking amp all the time and shit. Like
Oh,
that shit would
Jesus.
make me so mad. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, Jesus.
you can't do that. That's not no. It's just because he knows JP too. And like shout out to JP, but he's like, if you guys ever seen Fast Times at Richmond High,
Yeah.
he's Spicoli.
Oh,
Like he's literally like,
I've
just
known
look at
many
the
a Spicoli in my life.
right,
Oh, yeah.
like the surfer stoner. Like he was just like he'd forget his bass for shows. Like he'd be like, dude,
we
where's your
had
bass?
we had a Spicoli in our band.
They're so good.
He played
Yeah,
guitar in our band for a while.
the amount of times I had to remind him to go pick up his bass before a performance was, I could probably say close to 100. Like it was hilarious over the 6-7 years we were a band. How many times he forgot his instrument because he'd have a bong before we go and then he'd forget it.
Can I tell my favorite Roland story? When I say my favorite Roland story, I mean not my favorite Roland story.
Yes.
But our ex-guitar player, Roland, who also played in Zombie, like I said.
Shout out, Roland.
Shout out, Roland. We love him.
We love
him.
gossip too.
We love him, but he's an asshole.
He knows.
He knows.
You should know.
We played a show, and we get there, and it was our time to fucking go up to play.
I know which one he's talking.
And he wasn't there. We're like, where the fuck are you? We're setting up. It's a 2-stage venue, so like the other band is playing. While the other band's playing, we're setting up on the other. And what the fuck? Where's he? Like trying to call him, can't get a hold of him. Where the fuck is he? No idea.
I'm putting drums on the riser.
Yeah, that's
Right.
where we are. We're on the stage doing this shit. Doesn't show up. Fuck it. We don't know what happened. He wasn't answering his phone. We play. We have to play as a 3-piece now. Well, fuck. So we're playing. Fucking dude shows up like 3 songs in. I didn't even notice because I'm rocking out, and then I see someone come on the stage. I'm like, what the fuck?
Starts plugging in.
Starts plugging in. We're like, what the fuck is going on? Whatever. He finally joins us in the middle of a song or something, making us look like total fucking unprofessional
Amateurs,
assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what the fuck, dude? Just sit this one out, dude. It's too late. But anyways, he gets up. Song ends. He gets on the fucking mic. Oh Jesus Christ! Why would this guy have a microphone?
No.
And he goes, "Sorry guys, I did a bunch of fucking drugs before I got here, and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, so I'm here now," or some shit. And I don't know if he said it, but I think we found out afterwards. Like his girlfriend at the time.
Oh yeah.
She came with him. And it was I think it was his first time meeting her dad. He came to the show, and he said that shit. He's like, I was on a bunch of drugs, and I didn't know what's going on. Sorry. We're like, oh. Yeah.
Oh, that's legendary.
Similar things that happened in that vein, but
Right?
by him. But that was one of the ones that I was just like, oh no, dude.
That moment.
Halfway through, I would have booted his mic.
Just
Nope.
Oh, dude. And I was just like, yo, come on. And then, of course, after the show, it's like, what? And then I think that's what he's like, yeah. It's like the first time I met her dad, too. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, my God. Jeez, I bet you he thinks a lot of real
That's a hell of
highly
a
of you
first
now.
impression.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
There's always one, dude. There's always one.
Right?
Oh, jeez.
If there was anything in the industry that you guys could change, what do you think it would be?
Oh, my God. How much time you got? No. I mean,
Here's my list.
what do you think, Lon?
Well, you know, like kind of like what I told these guys last time is, you know, I just kind of wish that people listen to music, you know, like how they used to. You know, I wish people discovered music like how they used to discover it and actually appreciate it and
God damn it, dude.
listen to a full album, you know, not just download singles and, you know, just kind of cherry pick from what songs they like. I mean, like, I remember making cassettes back in the days for friends,
Yeah.
And they used to have to just sit and listen to the whole
Mixtapes,
cassette.
man. Mixtapes.
Yeah, and then it turned into CDs.
Yeah.
Yeah, put
You
them
know?
CDs with some bullshit scribble on it, like metal mix or like
Right.
whatever. And here's a
Epic
band.
metal mix
Same
2.
concept, I guess. But
Yes.
that, you know, you kind of were able to skip the songs. But, you know, the mixtape, that was just so cool
It's a lost
because
art, man.
I used to make mixtapes for friends, you know, and I used to turn friends on to different bands and stuff like that. And now, like, you can't even show anyone anything because they're just so stuck in their ways.
We used to bump mixtapes in our tour van because all our van had was a tape deck.
Right.
So we fucking make mixtapes and we put them in there. And yeah, just those lost arts, just being able to go to fucking Tower Records at 10 o'clock at night and just go listen to whatever the fuck you wanted for hours and just being discovering bands and just I feel bad for the younger generation because they don't get to experience that. Like, it's not like a pity thing. It's just like, that sucks. Like, that's a cool thing that we got to do when we were kids. And just listening to CDs all day and just like, that's cool. You know what we used to do? We'd go in the liner notes of a band that we liked. And then in the thank yous, they'd name all their bands that they were friends with.
Yep.
And then you go, well, I got to check out this band and this band and this band and this band because they're friends, so they must be dope. And then you discover all these really rad bands. So it's like, that's fucking, I mean, record stores. I know vinyl's a big thing now, again, which is cool. That's more of a collectible thing, though, right? I mean, why are you going to listen to, I don't know what listening to digitally recorded album on vinyl does.
People are listening to vinyl.
Right, yeah.
Right, but at least that's something. But like, yeah, just like all that, I guess
But see, if you don't have your album on vinyl, then people don't even want to listen to it.
Yeah.
And that's another
Right.
kind of, thing that goes with that.
Yeah.
Where,
Metal
like
snobs.
you've been asked a million times, when are you going to put it on vinyl? When are you going to put it on vinyl? We're like, well, we have the CD right now.
Yeah, you
Right,
wanna listen to that?
It's like,
It's right here.
the vinyl.
They just want to have the thing. They want to have the pretty, like, so when someone walks in, it's like, oh, look at my vinyl.
Yeah.
Right? But
Yeah.
it's not
Which would
like,
be rad.
yeah, fine. But
It would be nice to have like a
listen to the
vinyl of
music
your own.
too,
It'd be dope.
man.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think people, like we were talking about earlier, it's not about music anymore.
No.
It's everything else.
It's everything else. It's everything else that we got to focus on. And yeah, I guess in terms of the industry, it's just like, I wish we could still have those kinds of discovery moments of new music. And I guess, but just technology made it inevitable. Like, we knew what it was going to happen. I mean, everyone gives shit to Lars from Metallica for the Napster thing years ago. He's fucking right. I mean, for their band, it didn't matter. For those guys, they were fucking
But he
loaded
was
rich.
talking about guys like us.
But
back then.
for guys like
We
us-
didn't know it.
But for guys like us, it was like, yeah, it was like the beginning of the end for a lot of local struggling bands because it was like nobody buys CDs anymore. Everyone just downloads. I remember specifically, we played in Sacramento. I don't remember shit, but there's little moments that I remember because they, left an impression on me.
Yeah.
And I remember we were touring for an Envy of Innocence, which was a record that was put out by an independent label called Dwell Records in 2006, 2005?
Yeah, or 7.
2006, something like that.
Around there.
And we're touring on it, and we were playing in Sacramento, Orangeville. I specifically remember the venue and everything. And we were selling our shit, and we're like, buy the CD, buy the shirts, whatever. One of the kids bought the CD, and the guys, and all his friends were there, like, oh, sick. Hey, you're going to burn it for me? Yeah, bring me a copy. Yeah, can you download it? Yeah. So they were in our faces telling us the one friend is going to buy the CD and then basically give it to everyone else for free. And we're just like, or you could just spend $10 and buy the CD, dude. Like, fuck. Like, you just said it to our face. Like, it was no big deal. And it's like, oh. So, like, stuff like that, when that was happening, we're just like, yeah, man, like, times are changing very quickly. And, I mean, technology has made so many ridiculously awesome things possible. But at the same time, it's closed the doors for a lot of awesome things. Like,
Well, because you could cherry pick now, where back then, you just got fed whatever was on the table.
Right, exactly. And now, anyone can make anything, which is cool. That's great. Anyone could create in their bedroom, and that's super dope. But the con to that is there's just like an oversaturation of bands and artists. There's so much, and you're just constantly being bombarded with
You gotta like swim through the fat to get to the good
music and politics and media and just blah, right, just like overload.
That's another thing now. Like, what's the artist politics?
Yeah, there's that too.
Now people want to know what the politics are of the artists and stuff. You know, it's like,
I just like to fuck with them and tell them I'm a Satanist. Just scare the shit out
am I
of
allowed to listen to them? Yeah. What did
my politics allow me to listen to you?
what did they do in 1983 that's like not chill today?
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
so there's a lot. So it's like, I just the pros and cons of technology, man. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, for a band like us, it makes it harder.
Yeah.
But for other groups that didn't have the means to do it, it's making it easier for them to record and stuff. So again, there's a yin and yang, man. There's like, you know, good and a bad to everything.
I definitely see a second music industry emerging.
I mean,
like I see,
because
I always wonder how many of the big artists are actually going to go bankrupt over this because they haven't been performing, and they still owe their record labels millions of dollars, right?
Yeah, that's crazy. A lot of these big pop artists don't tour.
Yeah.
But you know what they do? You know how they stay relevant or making money?
Makeup,
they have
shit like that.
What were we saying? I didn't totally.
Oh, makeup. Like they do makeup and perfumes.
Exactly. That's where I was going now. Fucking their own vodka and their own clothing lines and their own, you know, whatever endorsements they have.
Everyone, no, it's so true. Everyone hates on Kanye, but he has an interview where he's talking about Lady Gaga and how she's like the head of Polaroid, like the face for Polaroid. He's like, I like Gaga songs, but what the fuck does she know about cameras? It's like, it's so true. Like everyone hates on him, and I'm like, nah, he had a point, right? Like he was saying, like, if you can see a product that you can basically talk good about, you can sell it, even if you're a musician.
Yeah. The fucking, again, I always quote Dave Chappelle, but it's like his whole thing was these days, like, what is it? What tastes better, Coke or Pepsi? He's like, tell the truth, can't even tell the difference. But Pepsi paid me recently, so they taste better.
Right.
Right? Like,
yeah,
that's what it is. They paid me recently, the most recent, so they taste better. So that's what it is. Got to play the game. That's the thing. We talked about it earlier. We didn't know how to play the game. We were just young kids playing metal, and we knew nothing about the business side of it. We just thought they're gonna do that for us. Mm-hmm. Nope. No one's gonna do shit for you. You got to do it yourself.
We grew up punk rock.
Very punk rock.
We just put the music out there, you know.
That's it. And especially now, and that was back then, years ago. Now it's even harder. Now it's even crazier. Yeah. Like you got to have everything lined up, man. Like your business model's got to be stronger than your music at this point.
Yeah, so, that's basically what happened with us. Is I was trying to put out. Me and Norman were working really hard to get our single that we released out, "Sleep in Flames," and it got to a point where I was like, "There's nowhere to go. Like it's so hard to get anyone to hear you." So it's difficult. It's not easy, and
a lot of it, honestly, a lot of it is luck, man. Right place, right time. Like, and that's been forever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you hear the stories of the stories of yore when we played a bar and the record executive was in the bar drinking and they discovered us, right? That shit doesn't happen anymore.
Artists. Yeah.
That doesn't happen. But nowadays, even still though, the luck, the little bit of luck still applies. I mean, obviously you got to work hard. You got to do that shit. You kind of make your own luck when it comes to that. But there is a little bit of like, well, let's hope we know the right people and let's hope we, you know, get in the right place at the right time. And that, I mean, that scenes too, like when we got signed to Prosthetic, a lot of the bands around us were blowing up. Like that's what happened. So we were in the right place at the right time.
We were really good friends with the band Light the City.
Yeah, so Light the City.
They were a Prosthetic band.
They were a Prosthetic. Light the City and Animosity was fucking killing it. And All Shall Perish and Winds of Plague and Suicide Silence and Faceless and all these fucking bands and all California bands. And then that was it.
We were just part of the wave.
We were part of the wave, and that's what happens. They kind of said, what are all the other bands going on with them? Yeah. But we some of us kind of got swallowed up, and then some of them kept going. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's how it happens.
Yeah, exactly. Especially nowadays with everything changing, you have to adapt real quick.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's, again, young man's game, young woman's game. I don't want to just say young man, but young people's game. And
you think about like the history of the you know, the music industry. Yeah, it was the same for about 50 years.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
and within the last, like, I want to say not even 20 years, like maybe like 10 years.
Everything changed like a million different times already.
Yeah, the rate that things have changed.
Evolution.
Yes.
Whew.
Yeah.
Exponential, dude.
So the
Just like,
fact that
holy
we're
shit.
dragging ass, I mean, I don't even blame ourselves, really.
Yeah. I also think that every other artist gets paid their due, like what they're worth, and musicians don't.
No.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
a
tattoo
lot of
artists can charge out the ass.
Musicians
you know what I mean?
definitely not.
Yeah,
for
because
sure.
I know a tattoo artist can charge thousands of dollars for a piece.
Right.
You could sell a painting for 10 grand.
Right.
If you sell it to the right person, but we can't make $1 off of a stream.
Yeah, man. and then you have like the necessary evils, like all these streaming platforms. That's like we have to have our music everywhere because that's the best way people are going to hear it. But they're giving us 0.00001 cent per play. It's like fractions of pennies, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like we just cashed out a little bit of money from Spotify, and it was, you know, it's a nice chunk to have. But if you do the math,
Oh yeah, it's bullshit.
you know, we should probably have a couple grand.
It's enough money to pay for like our video that we just got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that was like physical record sales, like from our merch table, we'd have a couple grand in our hands right now.
Just from a month of plays or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I think also a lot of bands don't. They look at it like we need 1 million fans at like right away, and I think you need to look at it smaller numbers. Like we need 1,000.
But just like dedicated fans, 1,000 really hardcore,
right?
Hanging on every one of your, you know, posts or songs or videos, whatever.
Yeah,
That's
the ones who will buy your
sure.
stuff, who will spend $100 a year on merch.
Like,
Like
whenever
that's
I
all we
release
need.
a song, like with whether it's with this band or my other band, the goal is always to hit that 1,000 plays.
Right?
Yeah, that's the first goal for me. Always.
I'll be right back.
You know,
I gotta get the charger. It's gonna die.
and you know, sometimes it's hard to hit that.
Yeah, it is.
Know? Just that 1,000 streams, you know, it's rough. And you think like if you have 100 friends, you know, and you each get them to listen to the song a couple times, you know, it's not too far away. But
you almost feel
sometimes
guilty.
it's just hard to get your friends to even comply with that kind of shit. You know?
You almost feel guilty sending them and asking them to like
Oh
listen
my
to
God,
your song.
totally guilty.
And sometimes I do it, and you know,
I hate to be that guy, but could
Right.
you please, you know?
yeah, and you want to like kind of dance around it in a way where you're not kind of being, you know, douche.
So forward, yeah. Like, hey, listen to my shit. You're like, hey, how you doing?
But I always see those fucking memes, and it's like, as much as memes could be kind of stupid, some of them are way
hilarious.
prolific,
Yeah.
and it's always the one that's something about like how you can go spend all this money on like whoever's product, all kinds of money that they're making millions, and you won't even just like download your friend's jam. Like, you know what I mean?
Like
Like,
you'll support billionaires that don't know you, but you won't support your friends that
that you grew up with, and it's like, yeah, man, like
we're all making Jeff Bezos rich every day here.
Right?
so rich,
You know, but
so fucking
you know,
rich.
can we get Antagonist and from the Empire some sandwiches? You know,
I think we should send Jeff Bezos. Maybe we need to get Jeff Bezos or fucking what's his name, Elon Musk. We need to send them a
Elon
care
would do something.
care package from
Elon, I
Antagonist.
understand.
Elon,
Right.
yeah.
He smokes. You just have to sit down and smoke a fat one with him and be like, Elon, we need some music support, bro. He'd be
Hey,
like,
yo.
Give you a sandwich.
we'll send the musicians to
fellow-
Mars.
As a straight edge human being, if Elon Musk were willing to sit down with me so he can give me some of his money, I would smoke a fat one with Elon Musk. Man. I'll tell you
Right?
that. I will
Yeah.
sell the fuck out for that man's money.
That's
Fuck it.
funny. Is there anything you guys want to say before we wrap up?
What do you think, man?
Okay, so I want to put it out there that we now have antagonistmetal.com in the first.
Do you remember .coms? Can
Yes.
you believe it?
Right?
So, you know, I have very little faith in social media websites. So I kind of took the plunge and just decided, fuck it, you know, we're going to go antagonistmetal.com.
All it really does is link you to all our social media.
Yeah. But, you know,
It's a
in the
one hub.
event that Facebook goes extinct, which you know, I hope it does at some point. I don't really,
Mhm.
I don't know. I see the social media stuff.
Fuck
as,
you, Zuckerberg.
You know, it's poison. It's poison for
It is.
society,
It is.
but it's a necessary evil.
Yeah.
So
it's good for getting to know people, but it definitely does. It's made this huge separation. Like the world just hates each other for some reason.
Yeah, exactly. So I see it at some point. It's gonna go away, or it's not gonna be popular.
Yeah.
What I'm saying right now is you're hearing it here first. I'm gonna start a campaign to let's bring back fucking MySpace.
Right.
Let's destroy all social media. MySpace was the only one that had it right, man. They had it right. We miss you, Tom. Was it Tom from MySpace?
Yeah, Tom is always our good friend.
We booked a hell of a lot of tours meeting people on MySpace. We could have our audio on there. We could have everything. It was so clean. Miss you, MySpace. Let's go back to MySpace.
So at some point, we're going to redirect that antagonistmetal.com to MySpace.
Yes.
.com/antagonistmetal.
Exactly. When they come back one day.
Yeah, eventually.
I wonder if is MySpace dead, or can you still can we just all jump back to it? And
I think you could get on to look at your old stuff, but
it's a skeleton. Right
it's
now.
so bad. It's bad. It's real bad.
They might as well just take it down.
Yeah.
Right, all bands just hop back over and say fuck it, and then
wish.
Tom's got to get back on the game.
If they were to go back to that original layout, the one that we all knew and loved, bulletins and everything, just real easy to look at.
Who's in your top 10?
Yeah, I think we would all go back with no problem.
Yeah,
love it. MySpace.
Just bring back the old layout.
Us old boys, we would, but the younger people wouldn't get it.
That's fine, right?
But wait, everything comes back, like nostalgia, right? Like, like 90s fashion and shit is like super hip right now. Like, and like even like 70s, like tie dye is like a big thing right now. So MySpace, fuck it. It's got to come back. It's got to come back around.
Well, Napster came back. Right now. Napster's the only one who pays artists the most. Like they're the highest paying for artists, right?
Napster money. Couple pennies.
So I guess before we end this, I guess I got to do the promo, right? The promo. Yeah. So we have an album out. It's called "Gone Is the Light." It came out last July, but obviously the pandy hit, and we couldn't really do much with it. So we have a quarantine video that we did, him and I did. So that's on YouTube, and we just did a music video for our song Epilogue that's on that album. And our friend Alex Lopez from Suicide Silence, and our friend Chris from Demise Photography, they filmed it, and it's rad. It's looking rad so far. We have a couple things to film, and then we're done, and they're going to put it all together, and we're hoping that we're going to release it next month in April. Wicked. That's the plan. Awesome. I think it's going to happen. I mean, Alex is a workhorse. He's like, I'll get like an edit of it, and like the next day there's like a sick, like, oh, here you go. Like, does this look okay? Like, fuck yeah, it's sick.
Did you sleep, dude?
Yeah,
dude.
All right.
He just came back from the Ukraine. He was visiting his lady, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna take all my shit over there and edit it, and like literally, fucking, that's what he did. So, so that video for Epilogue will be coming out. We'll start blowing up, promoting it soon. Put up some teasers and things. So it'll come out next month, and then hopefully we're gonna start writing again soon. I mean, I know Zombie Eating Horse just put out an EP, so I've kind of been like, let them do their thing.
Right there.
Yeah. There it is.
Yeah.
So that's what usually happens. They put out their thing, and it's like, all right, you did your thing. All right, now let's start writing again.
Your drum takes are done. Okay, now you're mine.
Yeah. Basically. So, but I mean, we're still trying to kind of promote the last album we put out because we haven't been able to play on it. We love this. We love all the songs on it. We want to play the songs live. So whenever that happens, whenever things start opening up and we can play live, we're gonna fucking play those songs. We actually have a show booked in September because it's been pushed back for like a year, obviously, and it keeps getting pushed back, and the promoter's like, it's gonna happen. Like, let's hope. So yeah, keep looking at our content. At all our social media is at Antagonist Metal. We're literally on fucking everything, including TikTok now, because had to do it. A lot of playthroughs, a lot of me doing like a lot of old jams and their solos and things like that.
Right. That's what gets the views though on there. It's weird.
I mean, we hope. Yeah. You know, we're trying. We're we're gonna have to get this guy's comic relief on there soon. That's what we're gonna do, and then we'll get the 90,000 fucking fans or whatever. But yeah, at Antagonist Metal, go check out everything, all the music, all the videos. We have 23 years worth of shit. Yeah. So we have a lot of things to go through on Spotify and on whatever. So yeah, man, keep on the lookout. We're still a band. We still do it. I was actually going to do a TikTok about that. You hate it when you're like, oh yeah, I remember you guys. You guys still play? Yeah. Yes, motherfucker.
Dickhead, we do.
Oh, dude. All the time. All the time. All the time. What do you guys been like? You guys still play? Like, motherfucker, get on your social media. I'm on that shit like a 16-year-old girl every fucking day.
Right.
So,
what else am I supposed to do?
Yeah, exactly. So
and avoid the techno. If you hear techno, it's not us.
It's not us.
Yeah.
I mean, we changed the sound a little bit, but not that much.
Not that much, yeah.
I
I was very surprised when I was like, whoa.
Might be smart to do it at that.
Why is there no vocals in this track?
I know, yeah. Why do I feel like I'm in an elevator?
Yeah,
we
right.
promise we'll never write a techno song.
Right.
Hey, Kiss promised they never do a disco song, and they did. So never say
we
and
might
it's their
do
most
like
successful song too. That's the funniest thing.
We might do a hip hop.
It's a fucking jam too. I'm not gonna lie, I love that.
If you guys ever need a hip hop artist, I'd throw down hard.
Hey, man, don't fucking test us, man. We'll do it.
I know.
No, legit. I did hip hop
right now.
I did hip hop for like 6 years. I love that shit.
Doing it. So yeah, man. And at Antagonist Metal, check it out. Check out the album. Check out our Bandcamp. All the links are on our Instagram and at antagonistmetal.com.
Antagonistmetal.com. It's a thing.
That'll take you to all the links. And
the
video for Epilogue coming in April, directed by Alex Lopez, and he has his production company called A Mexican Nightmare. It's on Instagram at A Mexican Nightmare. He's starting to do that. We're hoping to do even another video with him. And then Chris at Demise Photography, they did it too. He did it too. Awesome dude. And yeah, be on the lookout for that video next month, man. That's what we're hyping up next.
You can also find more info at InfiniteStrengthRecords.com.
InfiniteStrengthRecords.com, the label that we are on, who has been fantastic and wonderful to us, and Zombie Eating Horse. So thanks, guys. Thanks, boys and girls. So yeah, that's it, man. So we appreciate you having us on, and it's awesome talking with you guys.
No worries. Thanks for coming on. We'll definitely have you guys back on again.
For sure. Please.
Yeah, when you guys release your video, let us know and we'll have you back on and we'll do a spotlight for it.
Sounds good, man.
All right. You guys stay safe and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Brothers.
Peace out.
All right, later.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for checking out the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up to date on all the fucking good shit we got going on.